Greetings! My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. This music is beautiful. Like, goddamn. Anyways, it just suddenly hit me as soon as I got in here. Alright. So, thought I had more fuel than that. Nah, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, that time I finally found the Isle of Cat, where there are roses, and was able to deliver the second of the 3 deliveries. Now, the third delivery. The beast stirs in the hold. Your final assignment awaits. A life that was never lived. Mr. Sachs is staring at a small wooden box as you enter the hold. Inside, wrapped in a few pitiful scraps of velvet, is a lock of blonde hair and a set of teeth, carefully polished, barely used. The winter was harsh. The fire went cold. Later, the mother wished to forget. A convenient tragedy. Huh. Alrighty then. So, either this woman lost her child or she ate her child. Either is possible. Let's see. Alright, what do we have here? Oh yes, there's this stuff with the whisper box thingamajig. The Isri, the King's Claw, enforces the peace on the Isle of Cats, inasmuch as anyone does. They are entertained by your tale of a box. They look it over, tapping thoughtfully at the lock with the claw rings on their right hand. Yes, I think I know who this box belongs to. I will pay you 500 echoes for it, no questions asked. For symmetry's sake, I will make you another offer. Pay me 500 echoes, and I will tell you where she is. They smile. Well, we both know you're ripping me off, but I'm gonna pay you anyways. Because what? Why not? A melancholy tale. She was a smuggler of our honey, this Z captain, and also a gambler, and a frequent visitor to the tongue. Dare I ask? Her death became so onerous that I had to take her in keeping. Her family paid the ransom to redeem her, but, oh dear, let me be honest with you. I was a little short of operating funds that month, so I sold her to Zyra for the Garden of Cages. They smile. The bees have been into her, who knows how many times. There is nothing left now. She won't remember her name, much less the key phrase. I suppose that's not what you were hoping to hear, is it? I am sorry. At least let me give you the address of her family in London. I regret I couldn't be of more assistance. Wait, so you got paid by her family the ransom, but you cheated them out of actually ransoming her because of that bullshit. So, wow, you're a douchebag. Well, this is the Isle of Cats, where red honey is. It's full of douchebags. Do you know how... Okay, do you know how red honey works? Like most forms of honey, it's made by bees. Like all forms of honey down here, it's made by very peculiar bees. I don't know if the bees are red, but they make red honey. And the thing they use to make red honey, well, among other things, what they use is, well, they essentially crawl around in someone's brain and harvest their memories. I don't know. I forget if they actually. Yeah. And then, so yeah, they take their memory. They harvest their memories. They take them back to the hive, and they use it to create red honey. And when you imbibe red honey, you can experience the person's memories, including like as if they were actually experiencing with the emotions and everything. But, well, if you think that having bees crawl around in your brain and harvest your memories is painful, well, how about reliving that experience every time someone imbibes red honey made from your memories? It's not a pleasant trade. It attracts just the absolute worst of bastards. People who smuggle it are bad enough. People who are involved in making it, that is another level of vile. So it's no surprise that Izuri is a douchebag. Alright. Port Cavendish. A scatter of yellow-lit honey dens and brightly painted alehouses. To the southeast rises the stone tower of Cavendish Abbey, its ramparts hung with crimson and gold banners. There are sailors from all across the Nath hauling cargo, dicing and brawling good-naturedly on the docks. The air carries a sound of sea shanties sung with more enthusiasm than skill, and the smell of roses edged with brimstone. Don't worry, prisoner's honey, despite being rather somewhat disturbingly named, is not nearly as vile. I'm pretty sure it's just made from roses, just weird ones, and weird bees as well. I forget how Gaoler's honey is made, though, but that doesn't appear in this game, so it doesn't matter. See, a piratical welcome. Welcome to the Isle of Cats, the wide-eyed Darkmaster says brightly. Would you like to bribe me not to write down your details in this nice official ledger? Sure, why not? Oh, that's why not. You hand over the coins and she tips you a sharp smile before waving you to the nearest alehouse. The entire process is straightforwardly corrupt and pleasingly efficient. Let's see. The alehouse's sign is a tiger painted the color of rose petals. What do you mean the color of rose petals? Roses are a fucking 100 different colors. What the fuck is that bullshit? Whatever. So it irritates you if I'll talk about roses just being red. No. Roses are one of the most one of those flowers that has like the most variance in colors. It's like utterly ridiculous. Although it's not as bad as calling violets blue. Uh, the alehouse's sign is a... Oh yeah. Someone has gone to great trouble and expense to gild the creature's eyes. They look out over the port, feral and unseeing. Well, as far as you know. A caged hive of lamplighter bees hangs from the ceiling like a chandelier. A few sailors give you hard-mouthed, assessing looks, but most ignore your presence entirely. Okay, so new tokens. The caddies all wear a pair of amber stones threaded around their necks, or pinned to their collars. Cat's eyes, one of them says, for the Pirate King. As far as you can gather, the Pirate King's name is Leopold, and he controls all the trade on the island. Half of the caddies believe that he can take the form of a crimson tiger and creep into their dreams. It wouldn't surprise me. The other half suspect, more prosaically, that he simply eats those who displease him. Also wouldn't surprise me. Clandestine doings, if you know what I mean. A whispered conversation, the clink of coins, an exchange of goods. The merest taste. You turn your head as though you were admiring one of the moldering draperies hung from the wall. A vial flashes in the buyer's trembling hands. He uncorks it, pours a few drops of thick red liquid down his throat. The vial drops to the floor. When you look back up, he is gone. You blink and look around. No one else seems in the least perturbed that a man disappeared from their midst. You pick up the fallen vial and examine the traces left inside. Sticky honey gleaming with redness entirely unlike blood. Hang on. Entirely... Redness that's entirely unlike blood. And you disappeared. That actually kind of sounds like Gaoler's honey. to me. But no, people... I was about to say people generally wouldn't ingest Gaoler's honey willingly, but I do know of 6 people that did. 6 people that were around before the start of Fallen London, and thus may have been around during this time. That's interesting. Religious observances. Is that a crimson-veiled nun? What sort of nun would be in a place like this? It's the Naya, you know? A mellifluous sister, of course, she responds, performing a complicated negotiation between veil, thick glove, and glass of mushroom wine. You ask what one of those is, and she snorts. I'm glaring at you underneath this bloomin' veil. You act appropriately cowed, and the mellifluous sister thaws a little. We are beekeepers and honey harvesters. The caddies owe their prosperity to us, and the pirate king, too. She slips the last of the mushroom wine behind her veil, and the barkeep glides over to refill her glass, eyes respectfully downcast. And there must be more to the Isle of Cats than drunken thoughts and Z-stories. More like less to it. Laws of the land. The barkeep stops you before you reach the door, and hands you a brooch set with 2 amber stones. He waits impassively until you pin it to your clothes. Everybody wears the cat's eyes here, he tells you, moving aside to let you pass. Just a friendly reminder that the Pirate King is watching. It seems that no place, then, is truly lawless. Not no place, per se, just less than you'd think. The Isle seems at present beyond the reach of the Admiralty's laws. That does not mean that the Admiralty lacks interest in their activities. Quite the opposite, indeed. Roses and kings. He spent half a day observing the docks and noted an astonishing number and variety of ships. Was that a connate trimaran nestled beside a vessel from the Iron Republic? The dockhands complain loudly that they have never been busier. The caddies talk ceaselessly and carelessly about smuggling and piracy, but even the most hardened sailors lower their voices when they mention the king. Elvis. They go even quieter when they talk about the Rose Garden. You make careful notes. Perhaps the Admiralty will understand what they mean, even if you don't. Well, you know, every rose has its thorn. Was that an Elvis song? I don't know, it was sometime in that era, I think. I'm getting a drink, hang on. Hydration is important, especially out at sea. Although granted, I don't actually know if the Untersee is a saltwater lake, but it's the Naath. Do you really want to risk drinking the water out in here? Yeah. Alright. This is the second time I've had to get involved in red honey nonsense as part of an ambition. Well, not counting the other times I've done this ambition, granted. But I mean, in 2 separate ambitions. Not in... Although one of them wasn't in Sunless Sea. It was in Fallen London. Anyways. The salt-scarred navigator said he tasted memories of a failed expedition against an immortal city. Well, I mean, a city with an immortal ruler anyways. The city certainly isn't immortal. No city is, if you think about it. Where is the one who gave it to him? Isuri, Castiva's Claw. The reports are all the same. Isuri manages the honeyed tongue. Oh, that's what the tongue is. A den of exceedingly select and debased pleasures. Okay, maybe it was what I was thinking. You'll have to win their favor if you're to taste the honey. If you know what I mean. Wait. Unlock with 1 time the key to the cage gardens and no more than 1 time the key to the cage garden. Okay, I guess you can have multiple then. Alrighty then, the honey tongue. It is both brothel and honey den, run by someone the caddies refer to as the King's Claw. Let's see. Let's see. Entering the brothel is like sliding into the dream of a surface orientalist. Jewel-embroidered cushions, bright silk drapes, gilded statues of elephants, sun bears and clouded leopards. Silver censers release curling plumes of rose-scented smoke into the air. The courtesans are red-lipped and coal-smudged. Alright. Need to gain 5 times the Pirate King's notice to get an offer. What's this then? Okay. Comfort a Z captain. A Z captain is weeping gently into a courtesan's bosom, muttering of her lost crew and rose gardens. They're all tending the gardens now, she wails, and begins to weep again. My poor crew! You wait for a hitch in the sobs, and inquire further. It is a slow, delicate business drawing answers out of her, but you are nothing if not perseverant. It seems her crew was conscripted by the Lady of the Gardens, and that their duties are something far worse than horticulture. Perish the thought. Nothing worse than that. You leave her reciting the names of her lost sailors, and commending them to Silt's mercy. More passing awareness than notice, really. And then, ask what red honey is. You know, of course. Only the particulars may have slipped your mind. One of the nearby courtesans' eyebrows lift infinitesimally, but his reply is practiced. When lamplighter bees suck the nectar of the crimson strain of exile's rose, they are driven to madness. They enter the brains of humans and harvest their memories. He shudders, as though imagining the process himself. Those memories are instilled in red honey. Each sip is a burst of memory on the tongue. Deliciously awful, isn't it? He flutters his dyed feather fan. Now let's just get more terror. I don't like using up all my fragments like this, especially since it doesn't seem like... Bloody hell. Damnation. Well, assuming this would give me King's notice, that would be 100 echoes per notice. That's not exactly a possible way. Maybe? Distressing. Right. Got your antics intrigue and your antics intrigue. Okay. I need one more. Okay. Can have some of that, and then feel if only I had. Whatever. Feel for the bee smugglers. The sister who tends to smugglers is the talkative sort. The sister tells you that the Pirate King went to Abbey Rock 50 years ago and asked the abbess to send some of her novices to Port Cavendish. You ask why, and she shakes her head. The better question is, why did the abbess send her precious novices to a place like this? He suggests a hefty bribe, or perhaps coercion. The sister cackles harshly. The Sisters of the Rock respect strength of arms, which of course the Pirate King knew only too well. He challenged the abbess to a duel and won. She didn't have much of a choice then. Ask our abbess if you don't believe me. She was one of those very novices, sent across the sea. Alright, then. Let's see, a meeting with the King's Claw. The Claw keeps us sweet in the maze of corridors above the brothel. The King's Claw tells you to call them Izuri. They are dressed in azure silk, and wearing the clawed rings of enameled metal and ivory on the fingers of their right hand. They're very beautiful, if you like them sharp and glittering and ambiguously gendered. Which I'm not a big fan of, frankly. Especially the ambiguously gendered part. If you have caught the interest of the Pirate King, and therefore my interest as well, they say, fixing you with an amber-eyed gaze, you seem capable enough, and I have need of a capable friend. I could discuss the memories, but I think I'd be better off not showing my hand. You know, getting their, trust first, and then going in that. Otherwise, probably demand a massive price. I do not have much moolah at the moment. Alright then, except there. You can never have too many friends in the Naya. Wonderful. Utterly delightful. Isari is all smiles and genial bonhomie. I shall start thinking of a task fit for your talents. Something special. They wave a jeweled hand. Run along now, there's a good captain. Alright then. Your patron beckons you into their office above the honeyed tongue. I have a delivery for the alarming scholar in London, they tell you, over a meal of fungus blossom and sea lily soup. At least, as long as it's not zoop. I made soup once. That's zoop with a bunch of Z's. It was pretty decent. Well, I couldn't get all the entire recipe. Really, I had to make a few substitutions. Yeah, a delivery that needs to pass beneath the notice of the revenue. Isari places a casket on the table, and slides it open with a dull click. Inside are vials of what is unmistakably vile red honey. It gleams malevolently. Alright then, accept a new commission. You're hardly squeamish about smuggling red honey. If you change your mind, you could always turn the shipment over to the Admiralty instead. Sure, why not? Certainly not one to get involved with making it, but if someone's going to be smuggling it anyways. Oh well. The scholars will give you some notes in return. Bring them to me, and I shall be most pleased. Isri slides the casket over to you, and very pointedly does not enumerate the consequences of returning without the notes. Instead, they smile, too wide, and you shiver. Alright then, what next then? I'll definitely want to, at some point, return to London. Definitely want to return to London, drop off this stuff, and also get more supplies and stuff, and, deal with my officers, actually start my officers' storylines. Let's see. The Iron Republic should be around here-ish, which is a great place to go for supplies. Oh yeah, and I need to go to, and of course I need to go to the Avid Horizon. Oh, come on! Why did it go back to 360 again? For fuck's sake. Okay, once I swing back to London and then I'll probably exit and fix that. I don't understand why it keeps setting itself back to 360. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so anyway, what I'm gonna do is go to the Iron Republic, then maybe swing back to Pigmode Isle? I don't know if it's worth going to Pigmode Isle. Yeah, but yeah, I feel Iron Republic, then London, do some stuff there, then swing by Wither, then Codex. And we've got a okay. So okay, we have our heading. Man, I wish I could let hunger go above 50 normally without having to run out of supplies. But I guess But I guess if I tried to pull that off, my crew would probably mutiny. There's no life by now to compare with pure imagination. Look at this. Knock knock. A crewman steps into your cabin. His uniform is one of your issue, though the face rings no bell. They do blend together after a while. This, however, does not look like a chap who swabs decks or loads cannons. Begging your pardon, Captain. Permit me to introduce myself. Gervais, at your service. At least while the poor fellow tied up behind the galley remains regrettably indisposed. Might I trouble you for a brief moment of your time before my escort to the brig? Okay, hear him out. He is at least honest about his dishonesty. Okay then. A message from London. My gracious employer has grave concerns about your guest down in the hold. Yeah, I have grave concerns about my guest down in the hold. No shit. Captain, and the course to which you are now committed. Blood will spill before this voyage is over, but it needn't be yours. Gervais produces a small vial. Crystal. The blood is red, redder than normal blood, almost glowing with vitality. Here is a more bitter vintage. When the time comes, I urge you to choose wisely. A favor from on high is rarely a poor investment. Okay then. I don't know what the fuck any of that was about. What a weirdo. Man. At some point I really need to swing by Port Carnelian. I think that's where I need to go to get started on getting my own submarine. That'll be great. Pretty great. Yeah, I think I've swung too far down. Grand Geode is certainly an interesting place, but not that useful to me at the moment. The air trembles. A breath of change passes. What do you think that means? Ah, here we go. What the heck is that? Republican Dreadnought. Yep. As in the Iron Republic, not as in the Republicans. Obviously. The Iron Republic, a wretched hive of scum and villainy. Hell's client state. Be wary. Their laws are not the laws of man or nature, or anything sane or sensible. Let's see. Ooh. Engage an officer, the irrepressible cannoneer. You magnificent bastard! Are you looking for a gunner? I'm looking for a ship! Here are my references! Here are more references! Here's the design for a whistling shell! Here's my colleague! He'll stay on shore. Here's my hand! Will you take it? Oh wow, you are in fact capable of ending a sentence with something other than an exclamation mark. Alrighty then. Sure, why not? Welcome aboard. Oh, this is interesting. Room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. Wait, let me make notes. Paper! True enthusiasm is a welcome but unnerving trait in a gunner. Alrighty then, what's your deal then? +8 iron. Simple as. Tittering Artificer. Oh yes, that one. The one that fires... well, never mind. Ah, here we go. 8 echoes for fuel. A very good price. I'll take 30. It's one of the best prices in the game. It might be... I don't think it's the best price, but it's certainly one of the best. Outside of, you know, getting it basically for free from hunting lifebirds and what have you. Alright, yeah. But yeah, Iron Republic is a good... So it's usually worth a look-see on your voyages if you swing by anywhere near this area. God damn it. Bloody hell. This is unfortunate. Okay. Increasing number of the crew. I can sacrifice 2 of my crew, or echoes, which I don't know how many echoes that'll cost me, and crew is pretty cheap. Better them than you. Isn't that the captain's way? Sure. An offering is made. They line up, dead-eyed in the snow. To a distant beat they march, one by one into the sack. One by one their heads turn to face you, and then away. The beast pulls the drawstrings tight. More, it demands. More. A knock on the door wakes you. You rise with a fever, head still pounding from a half-remembered drumbeat. The crewman outside brings troubling news. What? How did this happen? How many? You close the door. A coincidence, surely. Just a coincidence. Oh, it only took 1 crew. Alright. Better than I expected. I guess if it took 2 crew, well, you and I guess it needed you to have at least 2 crew, because if it took as much as you have, well, then you just immediately die. Hello there. What is a Stevener, anyways? Oh, it's just a name, I guess. Alright, a breath of relief. I suppose. What the heck is... Alright. You know, more strength to my nightmare, which is actually probably a good thing. Alright, welcome home. You may ask how it is I'm here to meet you, and I may remark that we have eyes in the wastes and eyes in the hill. In fact, we have more eyes than a knot oracle, and they're all glad to see you. And of course, your cargo. Alright, we gotta go and claim my payment. Nice. Oh, good. Oh, very good. Very good. Please accept this small token of my thanks. And please also accept my thanks. And my patron's thanks. Which we, being persons of honor, what understands the true nature of dealings, is much more important. Still, spending money is always good, isn't it? And a captain must eat, and so must a ship. Which is why if you look under the pier, you may find a few helpful contributions of fuel in there forth. Alrighty then. Be glad to be rid of this crate. Ah, here we go. Hello, come in, sit down. I believe you have some news about my wife. I paid the ransom, of course I did. And of course I never heard anything more. Please, where is she? What happened? Let's see, I can tell you your wife died while escaping. Tell him it was instant and painless. It's a lie, but perhaps a kind one. Or, your wife is a mindless shell. Tell him the truth, however horrible. The bees, the cages, the slow and agonizing theft of her memories. He deserves to know the truth. Hands to his mouth. I had heard terrible things of the Isle of Cats, but I had never imagined. How? How did she come to that? We mean truth. You have told a truth that cuts deep. That which can be destroyed by the truth should be, I suppose. Tell him the captain was taken in combat, suggest valor brought low by ill luck, or tell him of the captain's gambling debts and brothel bill. Let him know of what kind of woman he married. Of course, perhaps he already knew. A long, soft sigh. Yes, when we were married, she admitted certain predilections. I wish, but I know how it is for a Z captain. I would have forgiven her anything if only she had returned to me. But why the Isle of Cats? What was she doing in that sump of malice? Tell him his wife was a pirate hunter. It's plausible. Any pirate hunter might prowl the waters around the Isle of Cats, or even slip into the harbor and mingle with their targets. Or tell him his wife was a red honey smuggler. Red honey, so vile it's not even illegal. I never imagined. You're sure? Of course, I don't mean to question your honesty, but red honey. I'm sorry, I need a moment to collect my thoughts. You know, her captors let her write to me. At the bottom of the letter, she had added a phrase I never understood. Only those who do nothing make no errors. I think I understand it now. Only those who do nothing make no errors. Is that the phrase that'll open it? Did the captain hope the box would find its way to him somehow? Let's see. Or you could keep the box to open it yourself. Use it from your inventory if so. I might as well give him the box. You know, I'm not going to deny him his wife's box. That sounds like that's a terrible way to phrase it. A breath and a click. You explain how the box came to you, and how you began this quest. Irem, the Isle, and now here. You have your sailors bring the box in, and the widower whispers the opening phrase. It clicks open with a sound as sweet and precise as a well-answered riddle. He takes a breath and flings back the lid. A soul glowing like a hidden star. Heaped sapphires from the elder continent. A presbyterate heart cup. A water-stained journal, blurred to near unreadability. An account of a failed expedition to the Mountain of Light. The widower looks them over. Abruptly, he snatches the heart cup and shoves the box towards you. Too many memories, you magnificent bastard. Slightly diminishes the emotional moment. I'll keep this one memory only. You deserve something. You crossed the Z to find the truth for me. Here, take them and leave me now. Alright. Some sapphires, an extraordinary application, and a judgment's egg. Is this a soul? It's pale and bright. Souls like these, they say, are the spores of strange gods. But perhaps the genesis of stars. Perhaps both. Alrighty then. Alright, now let's get rid of this damn delivery. Let's see. The scholar drags his tongue over each of the vials. Fresh, quite piquant. Look at the color. Oh yes, perfect. An opportunity offered. Are you sure you didn't lose your shipment on the way? The alarming scholar asks, stroking the casket of the red honey vials possessively. Her teeth glint. I have quite a generous acquisitions budget, I am told. Yes, as I've learned in the past, where you've spent like 50,000 echoes on a ridiculous number of Lorn Fluke cores. But no, I'm. I'll probably make quite a bit more money in the long run by not cheating Isri, even if Isri very much deserves it. He, she, hands you an untidy bundle of notes written on what you hope is paper. You are almost certainly imagining how the notes seem to shiver in your grasp. Isri will be pleased, at least. It'll be what? Make sure you have at least 10 free spaces. Ominous. Speaking of which, I've also got some red honey, my own, which I also really should really ditch. Let's see. Near the crossroads. I wonder if I can... Huh. I can't, wait, don't I have some? Could have sworn I had some. Didn't I get some from that thing? Yeah, here it is. Oh, it's a firkin of red honey, not a shipment of red honey. I guess I can't turn in the regular? I don't know. Kind of weird. Well then. Honey at the crossroads. Wait here, the instructions said. Wear a crimson feather in your hat. Ooh, captivating treasure. The Veiled Lady. A black carriage, stripped of livery, slows beside you. When the door opens, a veiled woman in midnight blue gestures curtly. In she demands. I see you crying now. You found a lot of pain. And what you're searching for can never be the same. But what's the difference? 'Cause they say, what's in a name? And I see you in midnight blue. And remember, the bad singing will continue until my demands are met. You wait on a deep cushioned seat. A furrow-browed old gentleman with a mild and sheeply gaze samples the honey. He nods approvingly. The upholstery smells like flowers and rust. And rusty flowers. Go, the veiled woman says. She tosses you a lacquered serpent bracelet. It's freezing to the touch. Its mouth is stuffed with jewels. Alright, I got another captivating treasure. Very nice. And I can turn... No, that's the wrong person. This one. I can turn in the 7 Skintalak. Alright. For 1,000 echoes. Hell yeah. Thank you. Where I'm going, there will be light enough eventually, but we'll need something we can manage our service ourselves. But now I have further need of your services. And then sapphires, I have some of those. Or a colossal fluke core. Damn it, I wish I had risked taking on that Lorn fluke. If I had, I probably would have run out of fuel by the time earlier. Oh well. Okay, Lord. If I see another Lorn fluke, I'll actually fight it then. Anyways, let's submit this vital intelligence. I mean, I could use it for my, everything in the con's heart, but I prefer to use the other methods. Alright. Submit vital intelligence. Enthusiastic nods. I'm glad you brought this to me, rather than you-know-who. Our mutual acquaintance, 2 streets over. Voldemort. We do what we can. Alrighty then. Cool. 700 echoes from that. Let's see. And now, port reports. Peter's Morn. Port Cecil. The Godfall. Pirate monks. I honestly have no idea what we're supposed to do about pirate monks. What are they up to? Yeah, it's not something most people exactly ponder. Station 3. Excuse me, let me just call a colleague in. This is my colleague, Mr. Villain, of the Ministry of Public Decency. Mr. Villain, this good captain's report is here. If you would care to, yes, the fire is already lit. Let us, there we go. Now only ashes remain, and it might have caused such a lot of trouble. Thank you, Captain. We appreciate your discretion. Here is your payment. You need not trouble yourself further in this affair. Oh, 100 echoes for Tinder. Not a bad trade. Pigmoat Isle. I'm not certain I heard you correctly. Are you quite certain this is the report you wish to make? So be it. Is it really so bizarre? I mean, Radis favors are already a thing in London. I guess they're not that as well known yet. I look at. And what is the so-called Pirate King have to say for himself these days? Yes, well, we should rather know about his rose gardens. Not good news that they're prospering, though. Really should have nipped it in the, if you allow me, bud. Ha. And trading with the Khanate? With the Iron Republic? Bother. I may have to have a meeting about this. Polydream, the king with 100 hearts. What a useful fellow. Without his exports, I'd be delivering my own coal. What a terrible fate to befall you. Certainly worth employing thinly veiled slave labor to avoid. Ah, Visage, the island that looks up. I don't suppose you found out what it's staring at. The old monster up to now. Did the oracles look hungry? Zara's always taken an interest in that place. Right, anything else? Oh, that reminds me, did I ever... Right, Mangrove Island. I have no idea where that is. Where's the diplomat? You know, might as well grab another agent. Let's see. Morning papers. You know what? I think it's time to purchase an elegant townhouse. A good address on Hollow Street. It won't be cheap. Indeed. Sailor service. You have your crew cart your things from the blind hillman to your address. If anyone respectable calls, they'll pass as servants. This thing is now more expensive, but more effective. Alright, 100 echoes for 15 terror. That's like twice as much as before, I think. Or like triple as much as before, and 2 restful nights. Take the air in Tyrant's Gardens. Take coffee in Caligula's coffee house. Take advantage of a Z Captain's reputation. You could get used to this. Ah yes, a new recruit. Ooh, the genial magician. Good afternoon, you magnificent bastard. Perhaps I can do your engine some good. No, haha, I'm quite the engineer. Difficult to credit, isn't it? But here are my references. Right. I'll get to work below. Perhaps I could change out of this jacket first, of course. Huh. Interesting. Alright, now I should pick up a bunch of supplies. Maybe that. And let's do a bit of carousing. Why not? Sea shanties, fine food, and the warmth of a pub fire. And something more. Oh, the dapper chap. It's not such a coincidence, he protests. I had to meet a ship from home. Another one. His eyes meet yours. But it's good to see you. Something more. Shared warmth. New memories. It's harder to say goodbye this time. Yeah, seems like there's something of a romance blooming or something. Alright, and now I get the Z stories. Bit dangerous to be doing this with sacks here, but I don't know. How many do I need? 5, I believe it was. How many do I have? 1. That was unnecessary. No. An unexpected letter. Who sent it? And what does it say? Oh, a child. Let's see. Choose this option if you're giving birth to a child. Choose this option if you sire the child. Choose this option if you're unlikely to be either a father or mother. Sure, why not? Your sweetheart. A surprise for you on your next return to London. I have taken in a foundling. Although that's kind of funny. When I next return to London, I will bring an additional recruit. Your child. I'll take this one, cause hey, taking in a foundling is a good idea, you know? I was a urchin myself. What are they thinking? Is this some scheme of theirs or honest affection? You have a child! Return to London to look after them, and they may become a scion. I'll you take 2 legacies. Yeah, legacies. I'll explain those in like 10 or 20 episodes when I eventually retire or die. Those are a bit of a long story. Alright, speak to the crew. Oh, and it's also a good way of losing terror, I suppose. Z story. Then, I was expecting you to just skip through this, but... I'll do that. Oh, right! My officers! I've gotta actually, you know... discuss with them. And why don't we start with this guy? This bozo. He's a good engineer, despite that missing hand. But the sailor falls silent when he passes. You can ask him how he came to be an engineer, or ask bluntly about the hook. You know what? Yeah. A profession-changing injury. A snake bit it off. For once he is not smiling. I put my hand through an unwise mirror. And a snake bit it off. That ended my career in the theater. He leans forward. I am not a spiteful man, but I lost my hand. Perhaps you can imagine what that means to a magician. I am looking for revenge, you magnificent bastard. I need weapons against the serpent. I rather hope we might come across them. I may ask a favor of you if we do. Find a serpent image to continue the genial magician's story. They can often be found in Iram, and rarely in Venderbite and other places. Alrighty then. I do know the snakes he's talking about. They're not normally the violent sort, more the kind to be making rather canny deals. But, you know, there's always shitters in any race. Ha! You should have come here on my previous arrival. Then you would have had something to be concerned about. Alrighty then. Vexed and frustrated. Good. Oh, blind bruiser. Alrighty then. This seems remarkably familiar. Like, almost, it seems to be exactly the same. They're like, let's collect a package from the consignment. Now here's the money, don't lose it. Now bring the package back here. It is my hearty recommendation that you avoid the ungentle attentions of the excise. On account of if you return without the package, it is of no interest to my patron. Yeah, I've definitely seen this already. Yeah, this seems to be exactly the same. Okay then. Well, this is an irritation. I guess my my whole thing of like ferrying the recent news for Z stories, it will have to be put on hold briefly. But hey, at least I can see my son or child or whatever. I assume it's a looks like a boy. Like, yes, your sweetheart and your child. What will your child call you? Let's see, father, mother, or captain. Your relationship will be remote, or complicated, or exceptional. I always like to go for exceptional. Is this even your child, whether blood or adopted? Perhaps you're just wary of affection. In any case, here it is. Small, warm, apprehensive, affectionate creature. Treat it gently. When you visit your child at your lodgings when you gain a free evening. You always get free evenings when you return to London, but here's one now. Alrighty then. Time with your family. Your sweetheart comes and goes. They have their own complicated business, but they always return to your shared home and your child. Alright. A delight, but will it always be a delight? The sailor knows too well. There we go. Give your child a judgment's egg. Well, it was a gift from a woman to her husband or her significant other, and then her gift from her significant other to me, and now it's a gift from me to my child. A very interesting chain. That's putting it simply. It will coil and glow silently on their nightstand. It's a bit of a peculiar thing to give to a child, honestly. Enchantment. One day, your child breathes, eyes wide and fixed, gleaming in the soul light. I will sit at the bow of my ship. I will sail east for always, until the sun goes out, until the sky goes out. You do that. Now let's deal with my officers, I suppose. Alright. Invite him to dine with you. Perhaps he can enlighten you about his curious methods. A man, a plan. Maps are by their nature flawed, the cartographer pontificates, yet continues to study one even at the table. There are issues of scale and curvature and memory, and they decay in use so rapidly, especially down here in the dark. But imagine, you magnificent bastard, a flawless map. One that accounts for the tides and the drifting islands. A map accurate down to the smallest detail that could, in theory, allow the reader to find anything, to navigate to anywhere. He swiftly corrects himself. You agree that such a map, if possible, would be immensely helpful on the shifting sea. Well, you magnificent bastard, with your permission, I believe I know how to create such a map. We will need materials. And to begin at the very end. Oh no, not Irem! Being Stygian ivory, I'm a wakeful idol, and a bill of purple linen to Irem. Ugh. Alrighty then. What's your deal then? Hello. Busy now, but always get time for you. You relentless flirt, you. Invite him to dine with you. His tastes are Spartan. He eats little, drinks only water, barely sleeps at all. So you need only lay a simple table. An appeal. Thanks for the meal, and the company. No wine. It makes me sleepy. Oh yes, I can sleep. Too easily. That's the problem. He hesitates. There's a draught I take nightly. A draught I take nightly to substitute for sleep. It works well enough, and it keeps me sane and upright. But I wish I could enjoy just one night's sleep. If you could help me... We need a clayman from Polydream. We'll need a mirror catch box. And we'll need to go to Hunter's Keep. I'll explain when we get there. No, I'm serious. I would owe you a great deal. I have both, actually. And Hunter's Keep. Where was Hunter's Keep again? Do I even have that on the map? Doesn't look like it. Alrighty then. I'd love to be able to go without sleep indefinitely. That would be nice. Oh yeah, her. I should grab some... I already need to grab some dark chocolate coffee beans. Spider-Man will grab 2. You called, Captain? She picks at her borrowed, ill-fitting uniform. Pretty time with her. Well, she's accommodating about most aspects of life at Z. She remains picky with her food. Ugh. Coffee drinker. Despicable. I hate her already. Cultural differences. The crew don't seem to trust me yet, she says, staring down at her food. I understand. Why would Kaganian choose to sail with foul, greedy, simple-minded servicers? She blushes at your raised eyebrow. Sorry. Most of my family have nothing good to say about you. But my grandmother was from London, so I know not all of you are rotten. As for myself, you may not know, but it's compulsory for all children of nobles to do at least 1 year of military service. My father is he's a person of some importance to the Time Men, so it would be shameful if one of his children was able to perform her duty. That's why I was hoping that we could try some target practice, so I'll be ready to when I'm called to serve. She fidgets. Like I said, though, you don't need to worry about my father. He probably hasn't noticed that I'm gone. How about a gillyflower to start? They're small and mindless. They're mindless. It should be okay. Boy, if you're this reticent about killing things that aren't mindless, you would hate what happens around here when supplies get too low. Need a live specimen for this. What's your deal? He has soft voice, courteous, rarely makes eye contact, but often stares at other people's eyes from afar. Let's see. Chat about science, about politics, but ask about his medical career. He looks up from a wounded sailor. No, I mustn't. No, I have no stories you would wish to hear. He sniffs. Unless, would that be Z Trout? A dour companion. The doctor pushes more food around his plate and than he puts into his mouth, and when he eats, he chews until all taste has been squeezed out. Between bites, he sips only water, evading all questions where opinion is sought. It is only when the subject turns to his tray that something flickers inside him. Old memories of pain and pride. I fear it was my training that let me see the world for what it was. Its corpus infested by malignancies with human faces. How could I dare face Hippocrates in the hereafter if I just stood by and did nothing? Nothing! His eyes meet yours for the first time. Fierce, damned. If 2 drops of medicine can cure the body, could 2 drops of poison cure the world? For a moment it actually seemed that easy. The fire fades. He pushes back his chair. Pardon me, you magnificent bastard. I fear I've had my fill for today. Okay then. Let's chat about politics. Why not? It's true. I fell in with restless elements. The usual reasons, of course. Watching the bazaar devour London year by year. The iniquities of the rich and the pities of the poor. But more than that, I thought London needed darkness. Do you know what I mean? I thought the city was safer in the dark. Do you understand me? I applied my arts to that end. If you do, I need say no more. And if you don't, I should say no more. I do actually know exactly, more or less, what he's talking about. Liberation of the night. Invite him to drink with you. The haunted doctor has kept to himself since dinner. Perhaps some wine will help him open up. The art of poison. I let most of them slip away peacefully, a drop of laudanum still on their tongues. For that sopped my conscience I am most ashamed of all. The wine flows as the haunted doctor talks candidly of his past, of a status that allowed him to the bedsides of many of London's most infamous, and the black medicine bag that carried the tools of both his trades, doctor and anarchist poisoner. I was a fool, he adds. A child. Just a boy on a crusade, drinking in the rhetoric of the Calendar Council, thinking myself more than a mere poisoner. What I did, I do not regret. Would, though, that I had seen their true hearts before giving myself so freely to perdition. He raps his leather eye patch. The sound is hollow, sickly. It is a disappointment I well deserved. The lady taught me that much, at least. No. Another time, perhaps. The hour grows late. I thank you for the company. Yes, it seems he learned, almost too late, that the revolutionaries, like so many other groups that claim and perhaps do good, like the unions and politicians and what have you, they are but human. In the end, nothing more, nothing less. On a lighter note, speak to the ordinary human male. Surely he's not as unremarkable as he appears. Something missing. The meal progresses slowly, your unsuspicious chef preferring to push his food around the plate rather than eat. All my life, he booms in his usual timbre, I have felt as though something were missing, as though I were hollow, incomplete, unfinished, perhaps? No, no, he says quickly, shaking his head hard enough to rattle the table. I would certainly not describe myself as an unfinished man fleeing persecution. It is more of a spiritual matter. Yes, spiritual. He stares out at a porthole across the dark sea. If I had a desire, he says, it would be for a tattoo. Yes. Alas, the only sculptor, that is, tattoo artist, with knowledge of what I need was imprisoned by the Khanate long ago. He looks at you expectantly. He seeks a tattoo from someone in wisdom. Alrighty then. Certainly nothing at all suspicious about that interaction. Alright, invite him to dine with you. He has an admirable appetite for so slight a fellow. Forgetfulness. Seconds, then thirds, disappear in small hasty morsels. He is nervous, and not a gifted conversationalist. You do your best to plug the silence. When you ask about his past, he winces. I can't say, you magnificent bastard. This, he taps the livid sigil on his temple, which twitches like a scorpion's sting, has burned away my memories. I recall I have a brother, but not his name or where he is. I remember the names of the ships I've served on, the Implicit, the Bonnie Swan, but not their crew. How did he come by the sigil? He clutches his head. I don't know. Thinking about it is like fire in my skull. He grits his teeth. Someone must have hated me very much to curse me with it, but I can't even remember my enemy. How distressing. Captain, my sleep is riddled with dreams, you magnificent bastard. Dreams of bells and candles. A destination. He paces his deck. I see a lonely house lit by tallow and wick. A bell is ringing. It rings now. Do you hear it? He scratches at his sigil, which has begun to bleed. Do you know this place, Captain? Can I plot a course? A place of candles and bells. The Chapel of Lights. A northern sigil where no sin is too terrible. Alright, he goes to the Chapel of Lights to find his lost memories. And you. Sightless Watchman. He needs more. Watching mine. Invite him to dine with you and share a drink. He's earned it. The ship's been properly orderly since he came aboard. Perhaps after a drink you can ask about his eyes. The watchman pushes away his half-empty plate, nearly upsetting the wine bottle between you. I'll answer your questions, Captain. Of course I will. I expect I get queer looks regularly, but people don't usually ask me what happened, so I don't tell them. I was sailing with the Wonder Kind, running claymen for London. Corvette, Forced class. I was first officer then, too. We're in a tight ship. I expect they disliked me, but we were caught up in a fog and sheltered in the principals. The watchman leans back and sighs, running a hand through his wavy hair. Have you stood among the corals yet, you magnificent bastard? Watched the purple tide, the columns shining like moonlight, and heard the whispering? I saw something in the labyrinth wall. It told me where to look, you see. And of course I haven't seen much at all since. The crew found me scrabbling at one of the formations, trying to prize a piece free, blood all up my arms. The watchman spreads his hands, and you notice for the first time the lattice of smooth, waxy scars along his palms. Then he meets your gaze with his single silver orb. The principals cut my flesh, and the acid burned my eyes, but I can't forget what I saw there. You know as well as I do that maps often lie in the Neath. Standing amid the coral, but for but one moment, Captain, I saw the pattern in the chaos. Alright, another drink. Oh, 2 more drinks, actually. There's something I'd ask of you, Captain. A visit to the college? You meet the watchman in your cabin, sharing your grey fields in unexpected silence. The lamplight glints in the tangy yellow liquid with each thrum of the ship's engines. The first bottle is nearly empty by the time he finally speaks. Captain, I cannot clear my thoughts since our last conversation. The glimpse I was given, those months ago, you know what I speak of. I have since felt helpless to pursue it. But here I am, once again, just torn into pieces, at sea once again, and my mind is afire. There is but a brief pause as he rubs at his patched eye in agitation, giving you glimpses of the waxy flesh beneath. I have an idea. I hesitate to voice it out loud yet, but there is a passenger who sailed with me, a natural philosopher, obsessed with maps, who may be able to fill in the blanks. Wait. You wouldn't be talking about that other guy I picked up. No, no, no. I'm pretty sure he's from a different mod entirely. We gave him passage to Autumn Isles, where he joined the Mangrove College. I wish to find him again. Will you help me? Yeah. Okay. Definitely wasn't talking about that person then. Alrighty then. What else? What else? Then back to you. Nice. Need torpedo components. The torpedo components they're needed for firing torpedo weapons, but don't really use much of. They're better now than they were at launch, where torpedo components actually used up cargo space. But I still prefer not having to spend cash per shot, effectively. Even if you can get them much cheaper elsewhere. Let's see, invite the cannoneer to dine with you. I've had enough to eat, thank you. I don't eat much, but I'd like to demonstrate some ideas I've had. Can you meet me on the afterdeck at 8 bells? Alright. Whoa, 5 supplies. Bloody hell. The cannoneer has found ways to calibrate your weapons for additional death and explosions. When the smoke clears, however, it is impossible to deny that the risk and expense of most of these tricks is a little too great. Only a couple of minor modifications are safe to use. But do you know, the cannoneer says, sprinting thoughtfully, reminds me of a story. The Iron and Misery Company were testing something. Destroyed one of their outlying stations. Destroyed it to bits. If you can find me the prototype, I can make it work for us. Can you take me to Damu Island? I used to know the factor there. He might talk. Ooh, but oh wow, I lost 10 fuel as well. Bloody hell, that's like all of the fuel I got from turning in fort reports. Expensive. But I got iron, so it's probably worth it. Alright, Damu Island. I'm fairly certain yeah, I've been there. Not even that far. Okay, anything else? Anything else? I don't think so. I think I've got everything now. Got that. Yep. Alright. That's that then. I should buy some more supplies. Anything else? Oh, a new fruit. Right. Anything? No, just cheap. I probably shouldn't have done that. I just nice. Completely out of terror. Very nice. Oh, purchase a warehouse. Do you need more space to store your material things? Yes, actually. The warehouse may not look like much, but it occupies prime real estate down by the docks. Perhaps this is the start of a merchant dynasty. Ah yes, this is from another one of those mods. Let's see. Also, it's the shop menu, right? You're effectively selling items for stored items, which are curiosities instead of that. Should store. I'll save. I'll keep 7 of it on me. Yeah, let's save a lot of space. Certainly. It's gonna store most stuff, most types of cargo. I'll keep the mirror catch box. But yeah, this should Grip some of my cargo space. Not that I need to worry about that, apparently, because I've got 360 cargo for some stupid reason. Whatever. Okay, this seems like a good stopping point, because I'm starting to get rather drowsy. It's not surprising, since I've been playing for about an hour and a half, and it's almost 10 p.m. Next time, I don't know, we'll do stuff. Whatever. Got a lot of stuff to do, and I'm too tired to go through it. So, let's see, what did we even accomplish today? Well, we sailed back to London, and... Is that it? Well... Yeah, man, we really got sidetracked on this London stuff. Didn't really accomplish that much today, but hey, I've got the start of a lot of stories. And quite soon I'll be able to get rid of Mr. Sachs, hopefully. Without any further ado, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike this video, unsubscribe if you are for some reason subscribed, and write a nasty comment in the comment section down below. So long, suckers.